So what if life isn't this big, scary battle we have to suffer through, but a game? A game that you can actually win? That's the wild idea at the heart of Florence Scovel Shinn's classic for nearly a century ago. She says life isn't a struggle, it's a game with a clear set of rules for victory. So let's dive in and learn how to play.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Most of us are taught, to see life as this constant fight. We're battling against obstacles, against bad luck, against everything. But what if that whole way of looking at it is just wrong? What if we've been playing by the wrong rules this whole time? Because life is actually a game.
But way back in 1925, Florence Scovel Shinn published this very book, making that exact claim. She argued that the rule book for winning at life wasn't some big secret. Nope. She believed it was all laid out for us, right there in plain sight, kind of hidden within these age-old spiritual teachings. And this quote, this is the core of her entire philosophy. Shinn believed that we make life so much harder for ourselves because we're convinced it's a war. But she insists it's just a game. And like any game, chess, basketball, you name it, once you learn the rules, you can start playing to win. So, what are these rules?
Okay, rule number 1, and this is the big one. You have to understand the game board itself. And in the game of life, that board is your own mind. Shinn breaks it down into 3 really distinct parts that all work together.
Shinn's model here is pretty fascinating. She says to think of your subconscious mind as just raw, undirected power, like steam or electricity. It's immensely powerful, but it doesn't have a direction. Then there's your conscious mind. That's you, the one thinking right now. You're the director. You're the one who tells all that power where to go. And finally, the superconscious holds the divine design, the perfect blueprint for your life. The key thing to get here is that your conscious thoughts are literally the commands that program the incredible power of your subconscious.
So how do you actually direct all that power? Well, the main tool you have, according to Shinn, is your imagination. And she has this amazing name for it, the scissors of the mind. Because every single day, your imagination is constantly cutting out pictures. Pictures of success, of failure, of health, of sickness. And these pictures get pressed onto your subconscious mind. And sooner or later, they show up in your real life. And this shows you just how high the stakes are. Shinn tells this chilling story of a man who was so afraid of getting a rare disease, he just couldn't stop picturing it. He read about it, obsessed over it, and imagined it until it actually manifested in his body, and he died, a victim of his own distorted imagination. But on the flip side, if you train that same imagination to only picture good things, you bring health, wealth, and love into your life. It's the exact same tool, just used in a completely different way.
Okay, so if your mind is the game board, what are the actual pieces you're playing with? Well, that brings us to rule 2. This is all about getting a handle on the tools of the game, your words and your faith. Shinn puts a huge emphasis on the spoken word. She pulls from this ancient wisdom to explain that your words are not just empty sounds. They are powerful forces that are constantly programming your subconscious, literally shaping your reality moment by moment. And you've got to be so careful with them because, as Shinn points out, the subconscious has absolutely no sense of humor. She shares this wild story of a woman who was so tired of managing her big house, she would always joke, "I'm just so sick of things, I wish I lived in a trunk." Well, over time, her subconscious took that order literally. She lost her home and ended up living in a tiny, cramped little room. She had literally spoken herself into a trunk. But here's the cool part. This law works just as powerfully in the other direction. Shinn tells this other amazing story about a woman who came to her with just $8 to her name. Shinn spoke words of abundance for her and told her to act on her next hunch or intuition. Well, the hunch told her to go back to her hometown, which made zero logical sense. But she did it. And there, she ran into an old family friend and miraculously received thousands of dollars. And this brings us to a really crucial idea in her philosophy, active faith. Now, this isn't just sitting around and wishful thinking. No way. It's the act of actually preparing for the good thing you've asked for, even when there is zero evidence of it coming. It's about acting as if it's already on its way. Shinn uses this powerful story from the Bible to make it really clear. You've got these 3 kings stranded in the desert. Their armies are dying of thirst. A prophet gives them this bizarre instruction. Make this valley full of ditches. He was telling them to get ready for rain even though there wasn't a single cloud in the sky. They showed their act of faith, they dug the ditches, and sure enough, water came and filled them up.
You have to dig your ditches.
So what does digging your ditches look like today? Well, here's a perfect example from the book. A woman desperately needed an apartment during a massive housing shortage. Everyone told her it was impossible. But instead of giving up, she showed active faith. She went out and bought new blankets for the apartment she didn't even have yet. And what happened? She miraculously got a place, beating out over 200 other people. That little act of preparation made all the difference.
All right, so we've got the game board, our mind. We've got the tools, our words and faith. Now for the final part of the rule book, the unseen spiritual laws that basically act as the game's physics.
Shinn says there's this set of fundamental laws that are always working, whether you believe in them or not. You've got laws of prosperity, non-resistance, karma, forgiveness, and love. Let's zoom in on two of the most powerful and, honestly, kind of counterintuitive ones. First up is the law of karma, and Shinn has a great way of describing it. It's a game of boomerangs. Every single thought, word, and action you send out into the universe is a boomerang that is going to circle right back around and come back to you. You send out judgment, you get judgment back. You send out love, you get love back. It's just a universal law, like gravity. And then there's this one, the law of non-resistance. Now, this can feel a little weird at first. The idea is to stop fighting back against people or situations that are bothering you. Shinn says to bless your enemy and you rob him of his ammunition. Your goodwill literally neutralizes their negative energy. Their attacks, their arrows, turn into blessings for you. It's about overcoming bad with good, and when you do that, the fight just dissolves. So, you've learned to master your mind, you're using your tools, you're playing by these universal laws. What's the prize? What do you actually win in the game of life? The grand prize, according to Shinn, is something she calls the divine design. It's that perfect, ideal plan for your life that's held in your superconscious mind. It's your true destiny, your unique purpose. So winning isn't just about getting a bunch of stuff, it's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. And this slide really breaks down what that fulfilled life looks like. Shinn calls it the square of life. It's the completed picture. It means having all four sides of your life in perfect balance. Sure, health and wealth are there, but it also includes love and that crucial fourth piece that people often forget, perfect self-expression. So how do you even begin to clear out all the old negative beliefs that are holding you back? Well, Shinn gives us this incredibly powerful affirmation to get started. It's a direct command to your subconscious to just wipe the slate clean, to smash all those untrue records of fear and doubt that, as she says, mostly came from our own vain imaginings anyway. And that really brings it all back to you. Shinn's wisdom, even a century later, challenges us to stop seeing ourselves as victims of life and start seeing ourselves as players in a game we were designed to win. So the real question is, what untrue records, what limiting beliefs are floating around in your mind that you are ready to smash today?